Okay, let's try and unpack this. Today, we're taking a deep dive into this, well, pretty astonishing political saga.
Yeah, it really is. We're talking about the collapse, really, of what looked like a powerful connection between former President Trump and Elon Musk.
Right, the so-called bromance.
Yeah,
Our sources paint a picture of an alliance that started strong. Musk even got a government department, DOGE.
that's right, the Department of Government Efficiency. But it ended up being described as, like a junior high school friendship gone bad. Quite the shift.
So our mission here is to pull out the key details from the sources we've looked at. We want to show you not just the, surprising facts, but what this whole fallout tells us about power, policy, and loyalty today.
And it's fascinating looking at the sources, just how fast a partnership like that, at that level, can just, fracture. The flashpoint seems to be this one piece of legislation.
The One Big Beautiful Bill Act, ABBA.
Exactly. ABBA. It was huge. Like 940 pages, a budget reconciliation bill.
Oh, reconciliation.
Mm-hmm.
So for you listening, that means it could pass with just a simple majority, fewer hurdles. Makes it very powerful.
Extremely powerful. And that's key to understanding the impact.
So what was in this obiit that started the unraveling? I mean, what were the specific bits that kicked things off so dramatically?
Well, the tricky part is, it had stuff that sounded pretty popular. Making the 2017 Trump tax cuts permanent, getting rid of federal income tax on tips and overtime, boosting the child tax credit.
Okay, so things that might appeal broadly.
On the surface, yes.
Huh.
But then you dig deeper and you find these really contentious parts, like roughly $1.2 trillion in cuts to programs like Medicaid and SNAP.
Wow, 1.2 trillion. What were the projected effects of something like that?
Well, the CBO, the Congressional Budget Office, they estimated it could mean almost 12 million more Americans without health insurance by 2034.
12 million? Okay. And then it gets really interesting, right? This is where the conflict really ignites.
This is it. The bill also packed in a record $5 trillion increase to the U.S. debt ceiling.
5 trillion. And wasn't that when Musk came out with that Porky Pig party line?
Yeah.
I remember seeing that everywhere.
That was the one. It definitely grabbed headlines. His focus, according to the sources, was squarely on that debt increase, seeing it as fiscally irresponsible.
But there was more to it for him, wasn't there? Something that hit closer to home.
Oh, absolutely. Tucked away in those 940 pages was a provision to kill the $7,500 federal tax credit for new electric vehicles.
So hitting Tesla directly.
Directly. And crucially, the bill didn't touch existing fossil fuel subsidies. Musk slammed that, called it handouts to industries of the past while severely damaging industries of the future. You can see why he'd react strongly.
Yeah, definitely. And then things escalated.
Yeah.
Like really fast.
And got personal, very personal. The sources point to Trump actually threatening to use Musk's own creation, DOGE.
The efficiency department.
That department. Trump said he might turn that monster, DOGE, back onto Musk's companies. Said it might have to go back and eat Elon.
Eat Elon. Wow. So it went from policy disputes to direct threats.
Instantly. The rhetoric just shifted completely.
And then came that moment that just, sent shockwaves, didn't it? The suggestion about South Africa.
Yeah, Trump suggesting Musk should, quote, close up shop and head back home to South Africa.
And then the follow-up question about deportation. That was chilling.
When asked if he'd consider deporting Musk, a naturalized U.S. citizen, Trump's response was just, we'll have to take a look.
We'll have to take a look.
Yeah.
Even though, as the sources stress, that's not legally possible based on political speech.
Exactly. Legal experts jumped on that immediately. It's impossible. But it shows a kind of rhetorical weaponization, using that language to threaten, even if the threat itself isn't legally real.
And the impact was real, wasn't it? Markets, the party.
Oh, yeah. Tesla's stock took a nosedive.
Right.
And it exposed some really deep cracks within the Republican Party itself. Big tremors.
So let's connect the dots for everyone listening. What does this all mean for you watching this unfold? What's the bigger picture here?
Well, what this deep dive really shows you isn't just, two powerful guys falling out. It's a stark example of how fast personal loyalty can just steamroll policy.
To the point of questioning citizenship.
Exactly. Even questioning citizenship status. It shows how one law, one act, can completely shift these major alliances almost overnight. And that makes political risk for corporations, well, incredibly volatile.
So this whole feud becomes like a miniature version of bigger fights.
Precisely. It's a microcosm of these larger battles over, how much we should spend, what counts as American industry, and frankly, how stable democratic norms are when leaders demand total personal loyalty.
It's quite something. This deep dive really lays bare how a fight over a bill spiraled into this huge national spectacle. It raises serious questions, doesn't it? Weaponizing government agencies, the security of citizenship, that corporate political risk you mentioned.
It shows you how fragile alliances can be, how power dynamics can just flip.
And it leaves us with a really important question to think about, I think.
Definitely. In a time where political loyalty seems to be demanded so openly, where even citizenship gets questioned rhetorically, how do you make sure government institutions actually serve the republic and not just, individual leaders or these temporary shifting alliances? It's something for all of us to consider.